Hello students, welcome to AriserTalent. As you know, we are studying very important chapter of NCERT, that is reproduction in animals, or how do animals reproduce or how do organisms reproduce. In our previous lecture, we have already studied about reproduction, types of reproduction, and we have studied about the different methods of asexual reproduction. We are continuing with the methods of asexual reproduction. So here we are, asexual reproduction. Okay, now we are going to talk about another method of asexual reproduction, that is budding. What is budding? Budding means something which is growing from a bud. Now what is the bud? Bud means an outgrowth on the body of the organism, which is generally developed by the continuous division or repeated mitotic division in the cells. Okay, so here we should mention budding means, what is budding? Budding means the process of developing or producing a new organism, from an outgrowth, which is known as bud, from an outgrowth on the parent cell, on the body of the parent cell. Okay, generally this budding is found in the here we are talking about the multicellular organism Hydra. Okay, so for example, Hydra. Now how the budding take place in Hydra? Let's see. Here the structure of Hydra is, okay. Okay, this is the body of Hydra. It's an outgrowth. Now how this outgrowth develops? What happens when there is a continuous mitotic division in the cells? Okay, then only this outgrowth appears in the body of Hydra. Okay, outgrowth or bud. Slowly, then again this bud faces the continuous division in the cells, and then it grows, and finally it takes the shape and size of this Hydra. Okay, or we must say it looks same as the parent cells, and then it get separate. Here, okay. This outgrowth grows because of the continuous division in the cells, and then forms a new part or new organisms that looks similar as the Hydra. Okay, here I should mention what new cell or new Hydra. Okay, then it gets separate. It gets separate from the parent plant or parent. Here we can see it gets separate. Okay, new Hydra means separated part. Okay, so what happened here? In Hydra, an outgrowth develops on the lateral side of the body by the mitotic division of cells. Okay, slowly, then this outgrowth is known as bud, It grows continuously by the division of cells and takes same shape of the parent cell. After some times, it gets separate from the parent cell and thus a new hydra is formed. Okay, so this is the complete method of budding. Now we will talk about spore formation. Next is spore formation. Next topic is spore formation. Generally, we know that the spores are produced by the sporangia, okay, and these spores are generally what they are, the reproductive organ. We must say that they are the reproductive structures, or they may be single celled, or they may be several cells. So they produce, or they take part in the reproduction directly or indirectly. Okay, so spore formation, generally the diagram of it is, let me draw it. Okay, here we have sporangium. Okay, these are spores. These are spores. Okay, so generally what are spores? First of all, we will talk about spores. So what are spores? Spores are single celled or several cell structures. Okay, they are single cell structures that take part in reproduction or that produce new organisms directly or indirectly. Okay, from the parent they detach, called structures, and generally that are detached. Here let me mention that are, here we can see they are detached, that are detached from the parent cell, directly detached from the parent cell and give rise directly or indirectly to a new individual. Okay, so these spores, what is the function of these spore? Actually they give rise to a new individual directly or indirectly. Okay, so these are spores. Now here we can say that these spores are developed by the sporangium. What happens when the nucleus which is present in the sporangium gets divided? Okay, then it is covered by, it divides and it is covered by the cytoplasm and forms a new cell. Okay, or forms the new spores. Let me mention here spore formation. Generally spores are formed by sporangia the nucleus in the sporangium divides and gets surrounded by cytoplasm and form spores. Okay, so this is the method of spore formation. Now we will talk about vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation, as the name itself defines, vegetative means the something which is producing from the part of the plant, okay, or part of the organism. Next is vegetative propagation. Now we will talk about vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation. What is vegetative propagation? Means when the propagation is done by the vegetative part of the plant. Okay, when we use a part of the plant to grow a new organism or to grow a new plant, that is known as vegetative propagation. Okay, generally it is done by the two methods, natural method and artificial method. Okay, in this method a new plant grows from the part of parent plant. For example, stem, roots or leaves. Okay. If we generally it is of two type, natural method and artificial method. If we talk about natural method, so what happens means the new plant grows from the original plant naturally. Okay, we cannot do anything in that, or no human activity take part in it. So natural method, for example, some leaves have buds on the corners or at the end of the or at the edges of the leaves. And then new plant grow from those buds only. For example, bryophyllum. In bryophyllum, a new plant grows from the buds present on the edges of the leaf. Okay. If we talk about artificial method, generally it is done by three methods. What are they? One is cutting, another is layering, and third one is grafting. If we talk about cutting, first of all, we will talk about cutting. So what happens in this method? In this method, a part of the plant such as root, stem or leaf is used as propagule to generate or to grow a new plant. Okay, what happens when we cut stem, root or leaf, means we use these parts, then we grow them same as they are, we grow them in the wet soil. Okay, then what happens? Slowly the roots develop in the soil towards the ground. Okay, and then shoot develops onwards above the ground. Okay, and then this process is known as cutting. What happens in cutting? In this method, a plant part means stem is used as propagule. Okay, the cut part means stem. Suppose if I cut, for example, if I take rose plant, okay, that is a shrub, then if I cut stem of it or I cut a branch of that rose plant, and then if I put it directly into the wet soil, definitely after a few days it start growing, because the roots will start grow from the end of the stem, which is the part inside the soil. Okay, the cut part of the plant is set in the wet soil. Thus, roots grow in it. Roots grow from the part from the end of the plant part, means stem, in the soil, and definitely if the roots will grow, it will absorb the water and minerals from the soil and provide it to the other part of the stem, and then definitely that stem will also grow. And thus roots grow from the end of the plant part stem in the soil, and they absorb water from the soil and provide it to the stem to grow. Okay. Next is layering. What happens in this part? In this method, roots are I must say roots are upmerged on the stem and then they start growing. If we talk about grafting, what happens in the grafting? Actually, in the grafting, two parts or two different parts, two parts of the plant are joined together in such a way that they form a new plant, or they form a new plant here. Okay. Next is grafting. Next is grafting. In this method, the two parts of the plant are joined in such a way that they form a new one plant, or they act as a one plant. Here we then they act as a they form or they grow as one plant. Okay, so this is the method of grafting. So here in this lecture we studied about the different methods of asexual reproduction. Hope everything is clear to you. Thank you.